You know what they say about guys with big noses? They take in more oxygen. That's not even an innuendo, I'm sorry. Anthony here for D News, and here's something I didn't know, or maybe I noticed and I never gave much thought to. Men's noses are bigger than women's, about 10% larger on average, at least in people of European descent. And researchers from the University of Iowa wanted to find out why. And they came up with some very interesting results. Even comparing men and women with the most similar sizes and builds they could, males had larger noses. The difference begins around the age of 11, right around when puberty starts. The researchers think that it's because males generally have more lean muscle mass. About 95% of the weight that boys put on during puberty is that kind of muscle. In girls, it's slightly lower, it's about 85%. And all that lean muscle tissue requires more oxygen than any other kinds of tissue. Bigger nose means more oxygen, means more lean muscle. And so there you go. Dudes grow bigger noses to make it happen. Of course, a big nose isn't everything. There have been a ton of studies showing the connection between proper breathing and the effectiveness of exercise. Just standing around, being humans or whatever, we breathe about 7 or 8 liters of air a minute, and about 400 millimeters of that is consumed oxygen. When we're exercising, that can increase almost 10 times over. And taking big, deep breaths helps your body take all that in more efficiently, which feeds your muscles better. But whether you're breathing the right way or the wrong way, a bigger nose means more total oxygen taken in at once. Of course, most people switch to breathing through their mouth during exercise, which sort of negates the nose size thing here, but just oxygenating your blood more efficiently throughout the day, whether you're exercising or not, leads to an increase in muscle growth over people who don't breathe properly, about 4% more. Another interesting thing that the study found, our larger noses are getting smaller all the time, if that makes sense. Our largest noses are smaller than the noses of Neanderthals, for instance, and it's because our ancestors had way more muscle mass, which meant that they had higher oxygen requirements. So, does this mean that the bigger your nose gets, the more muscular you are likely to become? Probably not. There are a lot of other genetic, physiological, and lifestyle choices that go into building muscle. And even though the researchers followed the subjects of this study for about 20 years, they only watched the nose growth of 38 people total. It would be interesting to see if these findings hold in a larger sample size or in people with different cultural backgrounds. If there was a tendency in another culture for the women to have larger noses, what would the explanation be? In the meantime, breathe deep, and if you're a little guy with a giant nose, you have a special destiny. Work towards being the tank you are, inside. And regardless of nostril diameter, please subscribe here for more D News.